All right, let's get to work on this one. It's the RRC, the Rookie Reclusive Complex is what I like to call it. And I'd rather not call it anything, but it happens all the time, and it happens in a number of different situations. So we're gonna break it down today and hopefully help you out, whether you're a coach, athlete, parent, teacher, trainer, therapist, or student. You'll see this happen all the time, whether you move to a new location, meaning like your family moved and now all of a sudden you're somewhere else. And so you might not even be in a new school or at a new job or on a new team, but chances are you're probably in one of those new groups. And so you're gonna be the rookie in this situation. Now, you could be, like if it's college or something like that, you might not necessarily be a freshman, you could be a transfer student or something. You know, you could have already gotten 2 years at a junior college, and now you're coming in and it's your first year, but you're a first year junior. You know what I mean? So anyways, we're gonna go through this. There's like 15 different things you're gonna wanna know. I know this is gonna come up backwards, but still it's gonna be helpful usually to see it written down one thing at a time so we can take it through it step by step. I'm gonna try and do it in less than 10 minutes. So the first thing is, this is kind of new kid rules. It's like thinking about new shoes. What's the best thing to do with new shoes is put them on, use them. There's gonna be a little bit of discomfort at first, but the more that you use them, and progressively, the better it's going to get. So it's the same kind of thing here, really. It's kind of a thing that you gotta work through, but you have to work through it. Because on the flip side of it, if you don't work through it and you keep putting it off, you keep on limiting your opportunities. And as you limit your opportunities and waste your opportunities, the ones that you get will diminish in what the return on investment is going to be every time. So you want to take advantage initially. So the first thing we're going to write on is like one right here. It's what you want to think about is it's like a reality TV show, right? It's like a reality TV show. What does that mean? It's a lot like Survivor. You want to think about you get dropped off on an island and there's a bunch of people that you don't know, and you don't know the area, and you don't know what there are for resources, and you kind of got to figure it out. But if you're going to figure it out, you're going to have to outwit, you're going to have to outplay, you're going to have to, out hustle, outwork, whatever it is. I don't even remember what it was for Survivor, but all those things really you got to do with yourself first. You got to outwit yourself. You got to outwork yourself, because you're going to be the one that gets in your own way more so than anybody else. It's going to be what's going on up here instead of like what you're doing. So that first thing is, think of it, it's like a reality TV show. You're going to have to just survive possibly at first in order to survive. Now, the number two thing is ask someone who's winning. Right? Ask someone who's winning or someone who's won. Somebody who's been there before and done that. The more recent, the better, and the more, the more like specific or more paralleled or more similar to your story and your situation, the better. Because then you're going to be able to apply what it is that you're learning more seamlessly. So ask them, hey, listen, I'm feeling a little bit bored. I'm feeling a little bit homeless. I'm feeling a little bit helpless. I'm feeling a little bit isolated, right? That is being reclusive, right? You need to get out in order to get over that. So ask somebody for what their success formula is. Number 3, meet people. And you've got to practice that. You got to practice meeting people. You've got to get out, and you got to do it in public spaces, and you need to do it often. And this is a practice. It sounds really goofy. It's like, I'm going to practice meeting people. Yes, you need to practice meeting people, because the better you are at that and creating and building relationships, the more joyful your life is going to be. So you may as well figure this out now. College or a new job, perfect place to practice these things and get good at them. The number 4 thing is exercise. One of my favorite, and breathe. Oh, I guess we'll write breathe too, because there should be a practice of breathing and a practice of exercise. The more in shape you are, the more you're going to be able to take advantage of life, relationships, and everything. The less you're going to be out of breath, the less you're going to be distracted. some of the greatest competitors I've ever seen weren't the most talented, they weren't always the most skillful, but when skill and talent got tired and they weren't distracted by being tired, they won. So if you can get exercise and breathing, not out of the way, but to be the way, it's a lot like Jim Quick says, as the body moves, the brain grooves, or as the body grooves, the mind moves. And the thing is, you have to make that a daily habit, a daily practice. And so that's one of the things. I think we've got somebody pulling in. I'm just gonna keep talking until they come in. So exercise. The next one is set goals. For a bunch of different areas. Set goals. Set goals especially for things socially. This isn't something that you'd normally set goals for, but if you want to meet new people, then set out to say, hey, I'm going to start one new conversation today. I'm going to follow up on one conversation from yesterday. I'm going to engage with whoever today at lunch or whatever. I'm going to go to this different place today so I can have something different happen. And so that's going to stimulate new activity, just like it does in the brain. So that's set goals. After set goals, this is perfect for this one. Try something new. Try something new. It doesn't have to be something important. It doesn't have to be something dangerous. It doesn't have to be something that's like, oh my God, I can't believe you tried that today. I went rock climbing. It doesn't have to be that, but do something new at least every day. At least once a day, do something new. I don't even care what it is. Take a new way home. Take a chance on something different for food at lunch. Try a new way of studying, a new place of studying. Listen to some different music. Do something different to stimulate progress within yourself, and you'll overcome that fear of the unknown. This is one way to do it. Number 7 is busy bee. Remember the busy bee, at least initially, because busy bees, they're not bored, they're not homesick, and they're not worrying that much. Why? Because at least at first, they're busy. And I don't say be busy just to be busy, but in the beginning, being busy could be helpful because you're not thinking about the things that you think that you're missing. But you're not missing anything out on that's in the past, you're just missing out on the present. So the busy bee, get that thing going, and you're not gonna be thinking about the things that you think that you're missing, that you're really not. The next one is immersion is key. And I'm gonna, instead of writing immersion, I'm gonna write clubs, okay? Clubs. College, work, there's clubs, there's miniature work groups, there's different things you can get involved with. Find your people. Okay? If you don't like joining clubs, then start a club that says, this is the club that doesn't like clubs. I don't care what it is, it doesn't even matter. Just what matters is community and getting engaged in something. When you're engaged in something, it will literally be almost impossible to feel like you're by yourself, to feel like you're, alone, or to feel like you don't that you don't belong there. That's just not gonna happen because you're in a group and there's a group of people. Or it could be a group of people that feel like they don't belong, but then you have a group that does belong. So that's an important thing. The next one is going to be make pretend. It is a daring adventure. So why is it important to make pretend it's a daring adventure? Anytime I think of a daring adventure, I think of stories. I think of like heroic tales, or even just, like Harry Potter or something like that. I think of like Junie B. Jones, and I think of my wonderful wife, Melissa, reading stories to the kids and I remember sitting there and listening, and she's just such a good storyteller, and she's such a good narrator, and just reading, and she communicates that way too. So like you have a conversation where sometimes you think you're like in this magical land or whatever, which is wonderful for us that get to be involved and get to interact with her. And so, not to get off on a tangent, but think of it. What if it was a daring adventure? What if this was like something that was on a big screen? What if it was something that was a book? How could this be magical? How could this be exciting? The good news is when there's stories being told, there's always obstacles to overcome. There's always plot twists. There's turns. There's situations where it's like, wow, I couldn't believe they overcame that. Wow, that was such a big, chance that they took on this. Wow, I can't believe how heroic that was. Or, oh, this is funny. Or like, look at this relationship being built. Like, if it was a daring adventure, then what could happen. And so give yourself that opportunity. The next one is daring adventure. The next one, though, is extreme ownership. And that is from Jocko Willink. Extreme ownership. Take ownership. It's your responsibility. You have the ability to respond. Take extreme ownership. And I don't mean to do this or to say this in a way that's meant to make you feel like it's your fault. But it's up to you whether or not you're going to like make the most of this opportunity, whether it's a new job, a new team, new work, or a new place that you're going, a new adventure, or whatever. Whatever it is, it's up to you. And that's not a burden. That's an opportunity. That's a blessing, not a burden. It's a blessing because it's up to you. So whether or not this works or doesn't work, it's completely up to you. You decide whether or not you're going to give up, whether or not you're going to quit, whether or not it's going to be a failure. Okay, so that's extreme ownership. The next one is show up to class, show up to work, show up to practice, show up to play even. But show up and show up consistently. And if you miss, please, Lord, whoever, forgive me, for I have sinned. I miss one class, I miss 1 minute, I miss one subject, I miss one homework assignment, I miss one project at work, I miss one, whatever you missed. Forgive yourself, forgive whoever you'd ordinarily blame, forgive, the person that ran out of paper, the pen that failed, whatever the case is. Forgive, forget, move forward. Learn from it, okay? Don't be... Don't put yourself in a bad spot just because you had one mistake, one failure, or whatever. Or if it happens again, that's fine. You can pull up, you can pull them up and move on. And that's what you got to do. You got to show up. It's got to be consistent, and you don't have to feel bad about it. It's not about feeling bad. It's not about shame. It's not about blame. It's about moving forward, right? Take the burden off your shoulders by moving forward. The next one is going to be failures. Man, any good movie I've ever seen, there's crazy failures in there. And if you're going to dare greatly, like Brene Brown talks about, you're going to have failures. Some people actually fail in the morning before they almost get out of bed. They'll figure out something they can fail at. They fail at it. And then they're like, hey, that wasn't the end of me. Guess what? I'm getting up. I'm going to rise again. And I'm not talking biblical, but I'm going to rise again. And then give yourself a couple of easy check-offs. Hey, give me a couple of wins. Maybe I'll hit a couple push-ups. Maybe I'll maybe I'll make my bed. Maybe I'll, brush my teeth left-handed. Did something new, did blah, blah. Check the things that you can check off that are multiple boxes. That's awesome. That's big wins. But also some people like to get those failures out of the way too. But do not take the failures personal. This is so important. And this happens often for rookies because they're like, the veteran, KG veteran, they realize these failures are going to happen, man. It's not the end of your career. It's not the end of the day. It's probably not even the end of this job that you're on or this project or whatever. So failures, they happen. It's okay. The next one is going to be story. Story. What's that mean? What's your story? Okay, your elevator pitch story, your airplane story, we're just sitting next to each other on a bus story. If you meet me and within the context of wherever we meet, what's my story? Can I tell you where I come from? Can I tell you something that tells you a little bit about me, my values, my beliefs, my principles, without being weird, without getting too deep, but it starts to open the door to a conversation or a potential relationship later on as friends or whoever, whatever, teammates, it doesn't even matter, workmates, playmates, whatever the situation is. If we're going to, and this is in Australia, but if we're going to be mates, then, how does that start? It starts by you understanding a little bit about me and me practicing it over and over. And it's a little bit of selling yourself so that you know what it is that you're selling. Hey, what are you about? What if I could tell you a 1 minute, 30-second story about me and it would tell you who I was a little bit so that you can make a decision on whether or not we want to continue the conversation. It's a lot like the movie trailers that promote a movie, right? It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and it gives you the highlights and you can kind of fill in the blanks in your mind. And then if you're interested in that, then you go watch the movie, right? Okay, so the next one, the main rule. The main rule is going to be action kills fear. Action kills fear. Another word for fear here is worry. The people who are sitting there worrying, those are the people who are getting homesick. They're worrying, is this the right place? Is this the right job? Is this the right opportunity? Is this the right major? Am I on the right team? Am I in the right position? Am I? Instead of I am. It's not am I, it's I am. I am in the right place. I am in the right major. I am on the right team. I am at the right school. I am at the right job. I am in the right position on this bus. It's not am I. It's I am. And I am means I take action. And action kills fear. Action kills worry. Action kills you name it. I'm not saying not to contemplate things, but once you've gotten the information, boom, your cause set in motion. Now the next thing is the most important thing. We saved it for last. You can do it. Period. And then the next one is appreciation in action. All right. This is the most important thing by far. Bottom line right here, you can do it. You show that by being appreciative, and that means you jump into action. Up here, action kills fear, but also action fuels appreciation. What does that mean? If you respect something, if you're grateful for something, if you appreciate your opportunity or where you are or the people who helped get you there, you take action. Don't feel sorry for yourself when you fail. Don't blame anybody else when you feel like you don't know if you can pick yourself up. And when you miss an opportunity on something, that's fine. It's not like okay that you missed it, but it's okay to move forward and continue to work on it. Some people fail, they get a little bit of taste of failure for the first time, and then all of a sudden they start contemplating, man, am I worth it? Am I good enough? They get the fear of missing out, they get the imposter syndrome, they get all these other things, like they feel like I'm not connected, I gotta go back home, back to the place where everybody knows my name, where like it's a Cheers commercial, where I can sit down and just be myself, where people love me for me. But it's like, hey, listen, wherever you go, there you are. And if you say I am and you step into that role and you take action that kills fear, you know that you can do it, and you show through your actions that you appreciate the opportunity, you're gonna be fine. Hell, you're gonna be better than fine. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And if it doesn't work out, you keep moving forward. So let's recap this puppy. 1, this is about the rookie reclusive complex. It is not a place on any campus, whether it's Google's campus or whether it's any other college or university campus. It's not a complex where you can show up. It's like a new pair of shoes. You got to put them on, whether it's a school, team, a job, or you just move somewhere. Put them on and get using them. All right. Reality TV show. Remember, it's like a reality TV show. You got to be a survivor. Ask someone who's winning. How did they do it? Meet people. Get out there and practice meeting people. Exercise and breathe as you move, so the brain grooves. Okay? Set goals. Even if they're social goals, set goals. Try something new. Try something new every day. Busy bee. A busy bee doesn't get worried about stuff. A busy bee doesn't get sad about stuff. A busy bee doesn't get homesick about stuff. They don't have enough time. Clubs. Join a club. Engage. Find your community. Find your people. Okay, start one. Start a club if there's nothing that interests you. I bet you there's a bunch of people who love it. Daring adventure. This is a daring adventure. What if this was a daring adventure and you were the hero? What would it look like? What would you do? What would it be like? Extreme ownership. Take responsibility. Take ownership of what's going on. And that doesn't mean blame or shame or any you did it. It's just like, hey, listen, if I'm in charge, what could happen? And then do that. The next one, show up. Show up consistently to work, to play, to practice, to whatever, to class. Because even if you miss a day, get back there the next day. Failure. Failure is going to happen, especially if you're trying to do something big. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen often, so you may as well just understand it's going to happen, be grateful for it, learn from it, move on. Story. What's your story? Know what your story is and be ready to tell it. If you can tell it in less than 30 seconds, that's awesome. Plus, you're going to know yourself better and you're going to know who you want to be around. Action kills fear. Action kills worry. The last one is you can do it. Stay positive. And appreciation is an action. It's not saying something. It's not saying, hey, thank you, I love you. You love me? Show me you love me. You're appreciative? Show me you're appreciative. That's doing something. That's not just saying something. If nothing else, this stuff is here. Hope you can read the handwriting. Bottom line is, if you're a rookie somewhere And it doesn't, you could be a rookie at any age. You could feel like you're a rookie at any age. Do not be reclusive. Get out there. Give life a chance. You deserve it.